Decades have passed since the state women's championship has welcomed teams from North Mecklenburg and Southern Durham. But today, the thirst of a trip to the state finals will be quenched, for it's time to welcome back the Vikings and the Spartans to the state championship spotlight. The 2026 NCHSAA Basketball State Championships, presented by Riddle & Riddle Injury Lawyers. The 3 seed from the West, for the first time since 1986, the North Mecklenburg Vikings, and the top seed from the East, first time since 2004, 22 years since the Southern School of Energy and Sustainability Spartans have vied for a state title. Welcome everybody to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Patrick Keenis, Jay Sohnhalter. That's generations, Jay, since these schools have been represented. What's on the line? How did they get here?
Yeah, it's been a drought, but both these teams have had similar years and really productive years. Tough regional final victories they had, big blowouts during the year. But I expect this to be a close ball game. They play similar styles. They know when to push the pace, when to pull it back out, but two teams that are great on the defensive end.
All right, so let's get to a couple of players we'll be keen on tonight. The players to count on, sponsored by Riddle & Riddle, when justice couch.
Ashlyn Hudson has been outstanding for the Spartans. 13 points per game on the season. She's a senior. She's a leader. She'll play down in the post. She can also step outside and shoot the mid-range jumper, but it's going to be very important for her to be a scoring punch here today and be aggressive early on in this ball game. For North Mech, Lanice Joseph has been great. She averages a double-double on the year, 18.8 points per game, almost 11 boards. She's a force down on the low block, in the paint area. She just dominates on offense. On defense, she patrols the area as a defensive enforcer. She has over 38 college offers. She was a conference player of the year. She's the #1 option for North Mech. Southern has to find a way to get the ball out of her hands, double team her, and limit her touches.
All right, North Mech got to the championship by knocking off the top seed, Lake Norman. The top seed, Southern Durham, has pretty much rolled. Tight win over South Gardner. Now let's get to the keys. Presented by Ingles, food for thought. Low prices, love the savings. Who wins the title and how?
Well, for the Spartans, they win it with their balance on offense and offensive execution. Everybody's got to be involved and contribute, and then slowing down Joseph on defense. They've got to do a good job communicating and limiting her opportunities. For North Mech, winning on the boards, crashing the glass, that's their strength. They want to box out and be physical and then get to the paint. Give the ball to your best player. Let her go to work here in the state championship.
Generations have been waiting for this moment. It is the Women's 7A State Basketball Championship. Southern Durham, North Mecklenburg. Tip-off from the Joel Coliseum is next. 14 championships down, 2 remain, and it's the 7A class walking into the spotlight. Women first, men's next, but get used to the Southern School of Energy and Sustainability. You'll see them over the course of about the next 5 hours on a lot of these stations across North Carolina. They're playing for both the women's and the men's championship. But first things first, North Mecklenburg 28-2, and the Spartans, affectionately known in the community as Southern Durham. You'll see a different scorebug for the Spartans show up for their official name, the Southern School of Energy and Sustainability, the SES. And the tip is controlled by North Mecklenburg. And away we go, the 7A title, and a quick take by the Vikings and Stephanie Mobley with a driving lamp. It's been, 36 years since they've gotten for a state title, not wasting any time.
Yeah, and they want to be aggressive here, and this is what they're known for, their pressure and trying to create turnovers.
There is the starting 5 we'll see for both the Spartans and the Vikings. 2 very quick buckets. Lenise Joseph with her first, and a 4-0 lead for the Vikings. Starting 5 on both sides, brought to you by Tatum and Atkinson. Injured in a car wreck, call the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson. And that is deflected into the backcourt. It will be sent back over to the Vikings as now we take a look at the starting 5 in this 7A title for North Mecklenburg. Lenise Joseph, 18 points in the regional final. She is a major player here for the Vikings.
She's a force, and on the offense and defensive end, she contributes at such a high level, and she is an athlete that will run the floor. We saw already that first bucket for her. She was sprinting up the floor. She does it all. She has great size on the interior.
This is Morgan Knox driving down the paint, missed it, but the old board by Joseph, and she will head to the free throw line. And again, our starters presented by Tatum and Atkinson. If you're injured in a car wreck, call the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson.
And for Joseph, crashing the glass there, you've got to put a body on her, box her out, and know where she is at all times. Even if she's off ball, she finds ways to contribute.
And nobody on this Vikings team is attempting more free throws this year than Joseph. The first from the Tatum and Atkinson free throw line. Again, injured in a car wreck, call the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson. North Meck, the 3 seed out of the West. Had a bye in the opening round. Double-digit win over Weddington. 30-point win over the 6 seed McDowell. And then took down the top 2 seeds in succession. Marvin Ridge by 20. And then a 16-point win over Lake Norman. And there is Teddy McCoy, 12th year head coach for the Spartans. They won 20+ in 6 of his last 7 years, but they have not played for a state championship since 2004 when they were beaten in the 3A finals by Asheville. And they've spotted the Vikings a 5-0 lead. So here's Jacayla Palmer, number 5, against man-to-man for the Vikings. They watch Herndon, number 23, as a tip pass stays in the hands of the Spartans. And Palmer looking for some help.
Well, this defense is creating issues. Look at the pressure from North Meck.
And Herndon off of the heels. He scored 25 in the regional final. Misses from the floor. Now in transition, attacking with the tempo, and more free throws forthcoming for North Meck.
The Vikings' pressure on defense leads to offense, and they are relentless. They'll create turnovers, and even if they don't get the turnover, Jennifer Baker has to be pleased with this start, but they'll crash the glass, get the board, and look to play up-tempo and fast and beat their opponent down the floor.
18th year for Jennifer Baker, the all-time winningest coach in Vikings history. I mean, this is an outstanding program, but it's been a long time since they've made that last step. They've been close the last 4 years, but their foil, their adversary, has been Lake Norman. They bounced them deep in the postseason 3 of the last 4 years, but the Vikings got past Lake Norman last week. And a quick start, up 6-0.
Lake Norman, the state champion last year, the 4A level, and that was a big victory to get here to Wake Forest. And for Southern, an opportunity, as fouls called here, for the girls and the boys programs to have a big night tonight, playing back-to-back here. This will be a good matchup here today, but they've got to find a way, Patrick, to settle in here on offense and try to move the ball and handle this pressure.
First foul on Knox, who scored 27 in the regional final. And there's the first bucket of the game for the Spartans. Ashlyn Hudson, the 5'8" senior who averages 13 a game, is the top scorer on this team. But quickly the other way, and there is Lenise Joseph.
She is so smooth, and they're just winning again with her speed, getting all the way to the hoop.
Early 8-2 lead, but they're harassing with on-the-ball pressure. Now settling into a tight pressure man-to-man. Around the perimeter, Herndon, yes. Book the three for Aaliyah Herndon. Paramount Auto three-pointer. Visit ParamountAuto.com. That might settle in the Spartans. It's an 8-5 early advantage for the Vikings.
So they need Herndon to have a big day. She had 25 points in their regional final victory. They've got to look to her for scoring production.
Now the Spartans are settling in, forcing a turnover, but then an illegal screen right at midcourt set by Hudson. That's 2 quick fouls on the senior for the Spartans.
One of their best players. She's just trying to set a pick here. You see that right leg goes out away from her body and just clips Blake. She'll have to be careful here with the 2 fouls.
So North Mech basketball out of Huntersville, North Carolina. Tied for first in the Mech Power 6 conference. To the inside, bounce pass, got to Joseph. Good handle on the left post. The assist from Morgan Knox. They've been doing it all year for the Vikings.
She's got such good hands. Just gets that ball and nobody can take it away from her. Knows how to finish there at the hoop.
And the pressure there by Blake forces the double dribble against Snipes Drain. And another early first quarter turnover by the Spartans.
And Blake is such a good defender. The junior moving her feet. Quick hands there and just making it difficult. She has such good body position, one of the leaders of their defensive effort.
Okay, that is 4 turnovers already committed by Southern Durham. A little more than 3 minutes gone by in the opening quarter.
And that's the challenge for opponents going against this defense. And now Southern switching up to zone pressure here, trying to throw a different wrinkle at the Vikings.
Into the corner, open 3, Newton, front rim. Weak side board to Snipes Drain. Up ahead, dangerous passes against this Vikings defense. Then the pocket picked and diving for it into the sideline was definitely Mobley, but on the sideline it will stay with Southern Durham. This is pressure and quickness, hard to simulate in practice, and you rarely see a team in the regular season or the playoffs, so you can understand if there's a bit of calibration needed here for the Spartans. They turned over again, and the driving layup from Morgan Knox. And a quick timeout taken by Teddy McCoy. 5 turnovers forced by North Mech already, and a couple of these are live ball turnovers. And it's Knox and Joseph leading the way for North Mech, playing for a title for the first time in 36 years, and they are off and running with a 12-5 lead.
North Met coming out here and instilling their defensive pressure just at the highest level. I mean, when you come out here in this atmosphere, you've got to lead with your defense. That's what you're known for. And they've come out here, done the job, and really made Southern look flustered on the offensive end and get them out of a rhythm.
Now let's take a look at some of our fans for the 7A Women's Championship on our Original Grills fan cam. Elevate your grill game. Elevate your sippy cup game. Big crowds all throughout the 4 days. There we go. Great to have everybody with us. There's another turnover, stripped in the backcourt. And here come the Vikings again. The pull-up this time by Knox. Buries it home. And it's a 9-point lead, not even 4 minutes into the opening quarter for North Mech.
Morgan Knox is a really good outside shooter, all-conference performer. She's at 11 points per game, and she's that scoring threat from the outside with Joseph on the inside.
So Knox has 5 points, Joseph has 7, and Mobley the other 2. 14-5 North Mech. Herndon being harassed. And now it's Trice, number 30 on the floor, and in the corner, the lefty 3 by Nickens is flat, and over the top goes Hudson. So Hudson picks up her second foul. Williams is already on the Spartans bench with 2 fouls. 14-5 North Mech, 3:51 left in the opening quarter for the 7A title.
Wake Forest University, McCreary Tower, and that'll be filled up here in the fall. The Demon Deacons football program coming off a great year. Jake Dicker here at Lawrence Joel Coliseum. This is a good start for North Meck, Patrick, coming out here on fire on defense.
Yeah, and if you have not been on a Wake Forest campus in a few years, construction is happening everywhere on the campus, most notably to their athletic facilities. And I barely recognized the place driving in. I couldn't access the regular parking spot that I had several years ago. So breaking the huddle. For the Spartans, what do you see they need to do? How do they best handle the intense pressure they're seeing? It's causing all kinds of duress.
Well, they've got to calm down, first of all, and use pass fakes, head fakes, move the ball quickly, set picks for each other to try to get some separation. But right now, it's just too many lackadaisical passes, not moving without the ball, and telegraphing passes, which is resulting in already 6 turnovers.
6 turnovers in barely over 4 minutes of game action. To the inside, double team collapses in on Joseph, knocked it out of bounds. It will stay with the Vikings.
Nice work from Herndon, going one-on-one against Joseph, timing perfectly, knocking that ball out of bounds.
A couple of Spartan players already with 2 fouls, twisted on the inside. Knox can't finish from short range. And boy, the Spartans thought that was last touch by North Meck, but it will stay with the Vikings here. Our officials for this 7A game, Todd Doolittle is our referee. Kelsey Jones and Chet Kendall are the umpires. Stays with the Vikings, bounce pass low, tipped away, and this time it will go the way of the Spartans.
And for Southern, that's what you got to do to break into this lead. 9-point deficit. It starts on the defensive side. Try to create turns, flip the Vikings over, and get the ball back to your offense.
The Spartans reached the 7A title game with a 42-37 defensive grinder against South Garner. Only 3 players on the Spartans team scored in that game, Jay. They had 25 from Herndon, 12 from Hudson, the other 5 from Palmer. So they don't go all that deep as far as the scoring threats on this squad, but they're all very, very talented.
And during the open of the broadcast, we discussed some of the keys for each team to win the ball game, and offensive production will be important for the Spartans. Having others score the basketball, those main 3 scorers, they kind of led the way in that regional final victory against a great South Garner program. 2 teams that really battled in that ball game, and Southern found a way to get the victory, but they've got to have more players involved on offense.
One more coming from the Tatum and Atkinson free throw line for Newton, her first point. Injured in a car wreck, call the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson. She makes a pair. So the lead gets to double figures for the first time. There's another, what should have been a turnover left uncalled. A clear travel by Hawkins, but we play on. Spartans basketball. Hudson, the leaner on the baseline, fouled, and free throws for Southern Durham.
Well, Hudson recognizing she had a path on the baseline, and instead of passing it on the perimeter, just decided to be aggressive. And that's how you break through, is you got to make aggressive moves, decisive actions, and there she saw a path and took it to get to the line.
So Hudson, 13 points, 11 rebounds, her season average for Teddy McCoy. 16-6 is our score. One more coming for Hudson from the Tatum and Atkinson free throw line. Teddy McCoy has done a wonderful job with the Spartans. He's only had 1 losing season over his 12 campaigns for the Spartans. Another 20-plus win campaign, 27-3 coming in. Trying to pick up their first state title. They reached the title game 22 years ago, but got beat. Deep entry pass goes into Joseph, applauding the assist. That was a pinpoint delivery for an easy bucket.
Just a perfect pass. Joseph going backdoor, setting the defender up, and another turnover. Now 8 on the day for the Spartans.
And here's a play of the game nominee right here. Watch this delivery from about 25 feet away. Almost a no-look from Mobley.
And she was calling it out, kind of pinpointing, and then looked the other way as she threw that pinpoint accuracy right in the chest of Joseph.
Joseph already 9 points in this opening quarter. She's a finalist for Miss Basketball in the state of North Carolina. Gets another touch inside. She'll be unstoppable with the deliveries from the perimeter, deliveries from the baseline from 3 feet away, and is no match right now for the Spartans defensively.
They do a great job moving the ball on the perimeter, allowing her to get set up where she can receive the pass.
Offensive rebound, Hawkins misfired under pressure, and it lands on the baseline. Hudson couldn't save it, hurling over some photographers. Joseph is already 5 of 6 from the floor, couple of rebounds. And as you mentioned at the top, getting dozens and dozens of looks across college basketball. She has 1 more year to go.
Yeah, I mean, you just project her talent already here at the high school level, but what she will turn into once she gets to college, you can see why the interest has been coming in, not only this year, but throughout the past couple of years.
And Trotter lifted the plant foot. By the way, Morgan Knox, a junior as well, so we may get used to seeing this North Meck team here in Winston-Salem for a couple of years.
Morgan Knox, that perimeter threat for Jennifer Baker. She had 27 points against Lake Norman in their last ball game, and you have those two coming back. You want to get this victory, but they've got a bright future next year as well.
Hawkins wheeling in, missed it. Rebound is tipped toward the sideline and chased down by the Vikings. Mack. Now head of steam, Trotter, the freshman, into the front court for North Meck. Mobley teardrops one. Joseph into a double team, finds Knox cutting through. A little bit of an angle to get to the rim, but she left it short. And then over the end line to the Spartans. The
Spartans clogging up the paint area with their 2-3 zone, just making it difficult. That was a short pass from Joseph to Knox. Not a lot of room to operate, but the defensive length for Southern doing their job there on that possession for Teddy McCoy.
Up by 13, the intense backcourt pressure again by Mobley. They've already forced 8 turnovers. They forced 23 in the regional final win over Lake Norman last week. Hudson, the pull-up, well shorts. And it's a lot of forced action so far by the Spartans, 2 of 8 from the field.
Well, this is a Spartans team that's 27-3, so there hasn't been much adversity for them. They've blown out many opponents this year. A great year with those 27 wins, but this kind of point in this ball game here towards the end of the first quarter, they're facing real adversity. They're going to have to find a way to make some adjustments and get things going on offense.
On a cut, Joseph. Offensive rebound, Johnson. And to the free throw line with 45 seconds left in the quarter.
A good size for the Vikings here. Johnson, 5'11", not boxed out, comes in, reads it off the rim for the board to get to the line.
That'll be the 3rd foul on Hudson in this opening quarter. First free throw is missed by Johnson. Only 3 seniors on this Vikings team: Johnson, Jayla White, and Mobley. Mobley is the only senior starter. So watch out for maybe a couple-year destiny here for the Vikings. It's been a long time since they played for a title. More free throws coming here for Knox as she got inside position on the missed free throw. During that last timeout, I went over and hustled to the spot where the
commissioner.
You were
sprinting.
I really was.
There.
I went over there. I put my shoes on. That's how important it was. I knew I was short on time. I went over. And I chatted with Q Tucker, the commissioner of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association, because the biggest name to come out of the women's basketball program for North Mecklenburg is Andrea Stinson. When they won the title in '86, she was the fearless leader of that team. Went on to a great career at NC State, went on to a great professional career in the WNBA, all-star in the WNBA. And I went to Q because Q would have known Andrea when she was at NC State. Is Andrea here? She said yes. So we're trying to get a visual for one of the all-time women's basketball greats in the state of North Carolina here, watching her alma mater, North Mecklenburg, tonight. Play for a state title for the first time since Andrea suited up 36 years back.
Next time out, you go sprint and find her.
Good battle for the defensive rebound, won by the Vikings. 15 seconds left in the quarter. They're leading by 14 points. A handoff, Mobley. Double swat into the baseline. Stays with the Vikings with 10 seconds left in the quarter.
Herndon's defensive enforcer, and here comes over, block this shot, and that's what you need, a spark play, something to get you going as we head here to the second quarter, 10 seconds left.
The Vikings looking to trigger in. They get to Mobley in the corner. In it goes to Joseph. Fumbled. Got it back. 5 seconds left. They rotate to the top. One extra pass. Up fake Johnson. They have one to get it off. It is sent, but it's wide of the mark by Caitlin Trotter. But other than that, a picture-perfect first 8 minutes back in a state title game for the first time in 3.5 decades for North Meck. They forced 8 turnovers. They put up 21 points. And they're up by 14 after one. First quarter stats brought to you by Arthritis Knee Pain Centers. Relief without surgery or opioids.
Early on here, the story of this ball game has been the turnovers and the rebounding. North Meck just dominating the glass and then protecting the basketball. Southern Durham has to find a way, Patrick. We talked here in the first quarter about just slowing things down, and it's been total domination for North Meck in the paint.
And there are the points in the paint. 16-2 advantage for North Meck. Brought to you by Ready to Roll Garage Doors. If you're ready to roll, call Raleigh's Garage Door experts today. Second quarter gets underway. Southern Durham in the red uniforms. North Meck in the home white. A 21-7 lead for the Vikings. 8 of 16 from the floor. They shot 10 free throws in the first quarter, Jay. Now we'll see if the Spartans come out with a different offensive look. Here's a leaner off the heel. The running rebound by Mobley. Lost her balance and gives the basketball back up. Herndon needs to take charge, trying to get the Spartans back into it. Almost walked right past the dribble. Gets it back. Spins a second time against Knox and got fouled.
There's an aggressive move from Herndon, and the defensive pressure was still there. Not a lot of room to operate, but I like how she just goes, kind of takes over there, goes to the body to get to the line.
So to the see-through construction free throw line, see-through construction, your contractor of choice on the OBX. This is Herndon. 25 in the regional final win over South Garner, makes the first, and one more coming. Again, only 3 Spartans scored in that regional final game. Only 2 have scored so far today. Hudson and Herndon 4 apiece. A couple of free throws made by Herndon. And to get back in this one, it has to begin on the defensive end. And now we're seeing Teddy McCoy employ some full court pressure, all 5 in the backcourt for Southern Durham.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And Southern's defense has been excellent throughout the year, but in this ball game, they needed to start to create turnovers against the Vikings and get them out of a rhythm just like they did here.
And a couple of players up on the Spartan bench applauding the effort. They do force a 5th turnover by the Vikings. And now a chance to string positive possessions together. Let's kind of watch off the ball what they're doing with Herndon. They kind of clear off the floor. But a fortunate break here as the loose ball gets to Nickens and poked away. And here come the Vikings. And let's watch Joseph dribble up the floor. And she palmed the basketball near midcourt. She can do most everything, but you don't want her running in transition, leading the break for Jennifer Baker.
So there, as she got the turnover on defense, she's trying to push the tempo. But the challenge for Southern is once you break through that first line of defense, you have to be careful how far you go because you have Joseph as a shot blocker waiting for you.
Still man-to-man by the Vikings, and it is Knox matching up against Herndon. Picks it up and now looks for outlets. Snipes drain against the freshman Trotter. I love Trotter's defensive position here. Good closeout, but still the big shot knocked down by Snipes drain. Tough finish.
Wow.
4 straight now for the Spartans.
That was a heck of a shot. The defense was there. Snipes drain just going in, pulling up and rising over the top.
Left-handed driving layup, no. Offensive rebound, and here's Knox with a short mid-range. Spartans will get the basketball. And their intensity level has been raised. And Teddy McCoy, whatever he conveyed to his team during that end of the quarter timeout has worked. It has been applied, and now the Spartans beginning to show some confidence and belief here as Trice comes in replacing Nickens.
Well, I see Spartans team showing more aggressiveness on offense, attacking, and then on defense, just more energy, trying to be disruptive.
Again, Herndon against Knox, takes a dig at it. Herndon still with it, takes her all the way to the hole, and scores. 6 straight by Southern Durham. It's back to a single-digit game.
That is an excellent take. The defense was there, but it didn't slow down Herndon. You just have to have those players that kind of take charge and make something happen.
Now the Vikings really being sped up, and look at Trice step inside the passing lane, cutting down another turnover forced by the Spartans. And Southern Durham getting right back in this ballgame. Trice, a little long for 3, and swatted out of bounds by Southern Durham. Love the effort, though, if you're Teddy McCoy. I mean, this is a complete chameleon change from the first quarter to the second for the Spartans.
You just see more intensity and the defense picking up.
And Snipes drain is a little too short to steal that entry pass. Vikings, though, missed the jumper with Mobley. Knocks the offensive rebound. Finds Newton out of the corner. Long with a 3. And there's Lenise Joseph. Her first points of the quarter. 23-13 North Mac.
2 offensive rebounds for the Vikings there. You've got to box out if you're Southern and try to keep her and her teammates off the glass.
Here's Herndon, this time on the left baseline. No whistle. Partially blocked. Vikings on the floor with Newton. Little bump. Runner off glass, too strong. Joseph again. Just kind of diving down the lane, kept the ball high. Good hands. A nice touch near the basket.
15 points for Joseph. And she's just doing all the little things, getting the offensive boards, get second chance opportunities.
These will be free throws coming up for the Spartans.
And you get the drive here by Hawkins, and that's 2 fouls now on Joseph.
So at the line, Imani Hawkins, sophomore for the Spartans. 25-13 North Mac, 4:52 for the first half. And 2 coming from the See-Through Construction free throw line. Makes the first. See-Through Construction, your contractor of choice on the OBX. A reminder, coming up at halftime, the Air Experts Heating and Cooling halftime report. Jay will have another sit down with Q Tucker. First half highlights, stats, and more. Air Experts, you can schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com. First 2 points in the contest for Hawkins. And now Hawkins is out. Tullis will see her first game action in the title contest. Pressure again applied by the Spartans. It's been effective here in the second quarter. Usually the teams that press don't really like to be pressed on their own. We've seen the Vikings get a little bit hurried with the pressure of the Spartans. Blocked shot, but some body contact. Foul on Southern Durham.
North Mech only had 3 turnovers as we started the second quarter, already 7 now, so they've had 4 here in the second to this point. So Southern's defense much better in there. Thought it was a block, but a good take from Trotter, the freshman.
Herndon, the junior, collects the foul, her first of the game. And now back to the see-through construction free throw line. First one heel to the glass and good. No style points, but the first points of the state championship for the freshman Trotter. (26-15) North Mech. And that 2 is long. Rebound claimed by Palmer. Up ahead, broken up. Pass looking for Nickens, but there was Trotter. She's everywhere, a little jitterbug.
Yeah. She is athletic, and as a player, I mean, she's done so much as a freshman scoring the basketball. She's got a future ahead of her, and getting these minutes here just shows you the talent she has and also the trust. I mean, Jennifer Baker.
Watching a lot of pro sports as I do, working in it, there's a really good second quick twitch from Trotter. I mean, she can go up, go down, and go right back up again. Yes. Block shot, numbers the other way for the Vikings. Newton off the glass, no, and Tullis with the rebound. And a foul going against North Mecklenburg. Good recovery by the Spartans defense in transition. 4:15 for the half. 11-point lead for the Vikings.
And for the Spartans, no turnovers to this point. So they've turned over North Mech 4 times here in the second. They've protected the basketball. That's why you kind of see them on offense getting into more of a rhythm and a groove. But they've got to stay consistent handling this pressure defense.
Now this is where the Spartans have looked, to me, their best offensively, when they allow Herndon man-to-man against Knox to bring the basketball up the floor, kind of clear things out, but the ball needs to get in her hands, and that's where they have looked really at their best. She'll set a screen here. Palmer still on the drive. The kick out to Nickens. That 3 is blocked, and then Nickens took down the Viking accidentally, and Mobley is up, but that'll be a foul going on Coretta Nickens. 3:50 for the first half of the 7A title game. North Mech ran out to a 14-point lead at the end of 1. Trimmed down a bit. 26-15 Vikings. 3:50 to go in the half. Hey fans, stay tuned. Near the end of tonight's game, Jay and I will pick the Akeem Monastipulo Law Firm play of the game. Injured? Don't scream. Call Akeem. Dial 800 all 7s. And that will then lead us to the Riddle and Riddle player of the game. Riddle and Riddle injury lawyers. When justice counts. North Mecklenburg with an 11-point lead over Southern Durham. Final 3:50 of the first half. Spartans trailed by as many as 14 in that first quarter, but they looked better, looked sharper. They forced some turnovers and clawing back into this game a bit.
Well, it's going to be important for them to close out this half on a run, and their defense is looking better. They just look more assured of themselves on offense. But when you're facing an 11-point deficit against this Vikings team, you can't trade possessions. You've got to find a way to hit the three-point shot and do a better job on defense, trying to create more turnovers, which they've done here in the second.
They're trying to rally with 2 of their starters already in foul trouble. 3 for Hudson, 2 for Williams. They force another turnover. And here comes Palmer, the dish to the left wing, and now a roll in. Trice with her first bucket, falling down, no foul, and it's back to a 9-point game. Knox, the hard take, left it short, and it's punched out of bounds off the Mobley.
And defense leading to offense for the Spartans. And there, it just looks like North Met speeding up. Don't they look like they're playing faster than they like? And the pace for them looks like they're rushing more than they did early on.
Absolutely agree. And they like to play fast, but it feels like they don't need to play this fast, but they're kind of being forced into it here by the Spartans. They try to rally. There's the step through. Blocked from behind, though, by Joseph. Dangerous play with a couple of fouls, but she got the block cleanly. Vikings basketball. 3 minutes to go in the half. They're up by 9. Blake finds the trailer Mobley. Trotter rotates, knocks a baseline drive, and this shot disrupted a bit. And she will head to the free throw line, where the fouls are piling up against Southern Durham.
2 fouls for Herndon. Here Knox goes baseline, a little forearm there to create more space, but then gets the foul called, and she is really good at driving the basketball when she sees room, or if there's not a contest, she'll shoot it from the outside.
Knox now 2 of 5 from the line. Kind of shoots these free throws with 2 hands. Different motion there. Jennifer Baker, meanwhile, on the sideline in a walking boot in her right foot. Well, you get to the end of the season, Jay, any basketball season, nobody's at 100%, including the head coaches. A couple of free throws missed, though, by Knox.
He's got bruises.
And now Herndon on the floor with a couple of fouls, and a blocking foul goes against Knox. That's going to be Knox's second foul. So we have a kind of story below the surface here. Knox and Joseph, the 2 stars for the Vikings, 2 fouls. Newton, the starter, already has 3. And for Southern Durham, Herndon has 2 fouls. Hudson has 3, and Williams has 2. And we're still about 3 minutes away from halftime. And then we'll run her kind of flattened against the heel, and the bucket drops down again for Trice. 4 off the bench. It's a 7-point contest.
Trice, the senior, coming in there and pulling up in that mid-range with a nice-looking shot. Now here on the defense, she's the top of the pressure with the zone.
Spartans still show that 2-3. 3-pointer miss out of the corner. Knocks the board, and a hard attack back in the hole. 28-19 Vikings.
Big play there, hitting the glass. And just when you felt like the Spartans were going on a run, had momentum, another offensive board in the putback.
It was just a determined attack by Knox off the offensive rebound. 3 out of the right sideline, no good. The nice close out there by Blake. And here comes Mobley up the floor, swings it, bounce past the right side. The finish, though, too strong. Tipped up and good, though, by Joseph. That's a next level tip by Lenise Joseph. She has 17 points. Back to double-figure lead for the Vikings.
11 offensive rebounds for the Vikings. That has been a huge factor here with their 11-point lead, just crashing the glass, getting those second-chance opportunities.
Really important last 2 minutes here for Southern Durham. Spin, contact, shot is booked anyway by Palmer. Could have been a foul. 30-21 North Mac.
What a nice play from Palmer, getting on the board here. She averages over 12 points per game. They need her to continue to look for her shot.
1:15 for the half. Dump down pass as Joseph got it down low. Knox missed the first, missed the second, but was fouled. Stops the clock with 1:12. That's a great high-low game by their slashing wing player and their post up top. Look at that feed by Joseph, right over the top of 3 defenders in between.
That is beautiful from the outside of the high post, and Joseph seeing where Knox was and threading the needle, and then just not stopping.
I mean, that gets the attention of college coaches, too, because generally you get in these high school championship games, the star player is really all about scoring. We're not seeing that.
Yeah.
Joseph is crashing the offensive glass, and that's an excellent, excellent look right there for her team.
Well, a couple things with her is on the defensive end, she is just as good as she is on offense. Blocking shots, being very active. She's athletic. She's got good vision, passing the ball. She does the little things. We see the scoring and the production. The little things are there for Joseph as well.
32-21. Snipes Drain jumps to the pass. Inside a minute now for the half. Palmer wheeling, throws it up and banks it in. They needed it. It wasn't pretty, but he gets the lead back under 10. Now can the Spartans get a stop here? Knox, the blow by, and the layup for Morgan Knox.
The defense faltering for Southern. Their offense much better, but they're not able to chip into this lead because North Meck's coming back and having responses.
Final 25 seconds. Herndon with a couple of fouls, wanted to set a screen, it was rejected. Three-pointers missed by Palmer, and it goes unabated over the sideline. Coming up in about 18 seconds, the Air Experts Heat and Cooling halftime report. Q Tucker will join us, highlights and first half stats, and a whole lot more. Air Experts, schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com. Probably walks it up calmly into the half court, holding his Knox with 10 seconds. Here comes Herndon out, forces her to put it on the deck. She does, tripped up, and a travel call. And Knox asking her teammates, how is that not a foul call? With a Spartan ball, 3.5 to go, length of the floor, down by 11. Let's see if they can, this first pass is critical if they're going to get a shot attempt. This is going to wind up from about 60 feet. Launched on the way by Herndon, online but short. Well, for the Vikings, their first state title appearance in 36 years. Lanice Joseph has 17 points. Morgan Knox has 12. They've been almost the entire extent of the Vikings offense, looking for their first title since their only title in 1986. At the break, North Meck on top, 34-23.
You're watching the Air Experts Heating and Cooling Halftime Report. Air Experts. Schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com.
Well, hey there, everybody. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the State Championship High School Basketball Games. Joining us is our long-standing partner all the way from Ingalls Markets, Miss Melissa Level. Melissa, are you loving these excellent basketball games?
I love it. What a great season it's been, and the best of the best is right here now on television.
Best of the best is right. Now, let's talk about that long-standing and robust partnership between Ingalls and High School Championship Athletics. What all does that entail?
It's just absolutely wonderful to be able to connect with all the schools within our region. You know, we're in 6 states, and so we have Friday Night Lights with football, we do basketball, we have softball, even some Olympic-style sports, and we go all the way up through college, and then of course some minor leagues. But we just love that high school spirit and the fun with that. A lot of those players work with us.
That's
A lot of
right.
their parents have a shop at our Ingles. So it's kind of like a big family coming to watch all of them play, right? So we love that.
We'll love it as well. Melissa, as always, thank you for taking the time to speak with us here today.
Thank you.
All righty. Let's get back to the game, folks.
You're watching the Air Experts Heating and Cooling Halftime Report. Air Experts. Schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com.
Championship week is always a special time for high school athletics in North Carolina. Joining us now is NCHSAA Commissioner Q Tucker to talk about what this event means for student athletes across the state. Commissioner Tucker, Championship week is finally here. What does this event mean for the student athletes who have worked all season to get to this stage?
All of the teams that are playing this week are regional champions. And so they entered this week as already a champion. And now they're trying to, put that cherry on the top, so to speak, and go home with a state championship.
This year's championships feature 16 games across 8 classifications for both boys and girls. What went into the decision to structure the championships this way?
A couple of years ago, the membership voted to amend our bylaws so that you could have no more than 64 schools in a classification. Now, it would have been very easy to stop at perhaps 6 classes, but at the rate we've been adding new schools, we would very quickly needed the membership to amend the bylaw again so that we could have more than 64 teams in a class, or we'd have to go ahead and have more classes. So the recommendation to our board of directors was that we go ahead and go to 8 classes, and that would give some flexibility in terms of adding new schools.
How does that expanded format create more opportunities for schools and student athletes across the state?
Because we have more schools that are getting into the playoffs than would have ever been in the playoffs, and they're able to make a deeper run. And that's exciting for those schools as well as for those communities.
For many of these athletes, this is the biggest stage they've ever played on. How does the association work with schools to prepare them for moments like this?
They needed to know, where your team will unload and how you get into the arena, what your dressing room situation will be like. Lawrence Joel Coliseum will be the largest arena they have been in for some of them. And so we just try to make sure that all the nuts and bolts are in place for the coaches to be able to share with the athletes.
When the final buzzer sounds on championship weekend, what do you hope every student athlete walks away remembering about this experience?
We want you to play hard. We want you to play to win. but we want you to do that and have fun so that you walk away and you think, we won, it was great. Or we were runner up, but it was great. And I had a great time with my teammates. For some of them, it would be the last time that they put on that high school jersey because they're seniors. So we want them to go away with those memories that will last a lifetime.
Commissioner Tucker, thanks for joining us, and congratulations to all the teams competing this week.
Thank you very much.
You're watching the Air Experts Heating and Cooling Halftime Report. Air Experts. Schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com.
(34-23) is the halftime lead for North Mecklenburg over Southern Durham. Patrick Kiedis and Jay Sohnhalter will get to our first half highlights and some stats here. An 11-point lead for the Vikings, and Jay, really from the opening tip, the Vikings have kind of been in charge of this one.
They came out here, they were aggressive. It was their defense that really stood out. That led to fast break opportunities on offense. They were really attacking the paint area, Patrick, getting involved with Joseph and Knox and just crashing the glass. There was a huge discrepancy on the boards, and they were relentless in using their speed and their tempo to their advantage.
Shot 42% in the first half, but they forced 8 turnovers, and 7 of those came in the opening quarter. Then we began to see a little bit of a different Spartans team in that second 8-minute second.
Well, the Spartans got comfortable. They started going towards the hoop, going downhill, and just taking charge on offense. Got to the free throw line, and then their defense created turnovers for the Vikings that led to offensive opportunities, but they need to kind of duplicate what they did in that second quarter and try to get things going here early on in the third.
Yeah, they did cut it down to 7 in that second quarter. Here are the first half stats brought to you by Arthritis Knee Pain Centers. And Jay, what sticks out for you in this one?
Well, after the first quarter, it was the turnovers and rebounding. Now the turnover is pretty even, but the rebounding for North Mech has been a huge factor. Those second chance opportunities on the offensive glass. And then for free throws, I know Jennifer Baker Pry talked to her team at the break about knocking down your free throws, only 50%. But the Vikings doing a good job at every other facet with the 11-point lead.
At 13 offensive rebounds for North Mech. There are the points, the paint, 26-10 advantage for the Vikings. Presented by Ready to Roll Garage Doors. If you are ready to roll, call Raleigh's Garage Door Experts today. At the break, 34-23 lead for the Vikings. They haven't played for a title since 1986. They're 16 minutes away from their second state championship. North Mech by 11. Oh, there is a drone look of the athletic complex, the redeveloping athletic complex on the campus of Wake Forest University here in Winston-Salem. They've been a tremendous host over the last 4 days. Winding down, one more game will follow the 7A men's championship, but we have one more half to go for the 7A women's championship. Patrick Keenis, Jay Sohnhalter with you. Is a 11-point lead for North Mecklenburg as we begin the third quarter. 34-23, Vikings in the home white uniform, Southern Durham in the all red, and they need some defensive stops right out of the gates. They get a misfired three and a defensive rebound by Kiana Williams.
They need defensive stops, and they have to box out. Good sign there, getting the stop, being physical, getting that board, and now on offense, they did a much better job spreading the floor and driving downhill in the second quarter.
Ashlyn Hudson, number 11 for Southern Durham, back on the floor. She sat most of the first half with 3 fouls. Turnover, and it's a 3-on-1 for North Mac. Newton to the hole will roll it in. 36-23 North Mac. That will be the story of the second half. If Southern Durham can mitigate the turnovers, that will give them a chance to get back in and maybe steal the title.
Also foul trouble here. You talked in the first half about the fouls racking up for both teams. That's something we'll monitor here in the second. Multiple players with 2 fouls for both teams.
Here's Palmer on the outside against Mobley. Palmer had 4 in the first half, and this is Hudson with the ball and those 3 fouls. Williams. Palmer now on the sideline, swiped out of her hands. It's a double touch. Mobley, the defender, knocked it off of Hudson, out of bounds. Back-to-back turnovers by the Spartans.
And the Vikings stretching their pressure out, and there it is. They're on the sideline, just clipping that ball, and goes out of bounds.
And Mobley, a future in officiating. She saw it off the hands and maybe leg of Palmer. And here come the Vikings up by 13. Joseph had 17 points the first half. This is Mobley, unguarded, knocking out a 3. The lead, the biggest it's been, 39-23, North Mac by 16.
She's a good shooter. This is exactly how the Vikings wanted to come out of the break.
Herndon, yes, with the N1 opportunity. She went right through 3 defenders, 1 fronted her, and then split the other 2 near the post.
Yeah, this is how Southern has to play. Go through Herndon, let her take over for the N1. She had 25 points in her last ball game. She's got to have a big second half here for the Spartans.
A free throw coming from the Tatum and Atkinson free throw line. Injured in a car wreck, call the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson. Free throw rolls off, loose ball rebound, and look at Hudson tiptoe the end line to save and then throw it away, but it is off of the leg of Mobley. It stays with the Spartans. 39-25 North Mac. Teddy McCoy needs a push. You know he underscored the importance of the first 4 minutes of this third quarter. Hudson on the baseline, senses a double coming, throws it out to a territory, and one of her teammates, Snipes Drain, got there, but she was on the sideline. So forced the turnover by the Vikings. Poor pass, but again, it was the quick collapse of that double team that forced the bad pass.
They quickly came over with that double team and making it difficult for her to find her open teammate.
Meanwhile, Morgan Knox now with the basketball for the Vikings. Just picked up her 3rd foul a moment ago. Here's Mobley off the wing. Back-to-back buckets by Mobley. She has 7 points. 41-25 North Mac.
Yeah, this is a young North Mac team. She's one of the seniors, one of the leaders here, and coming out here accurate shooting the ball in the third quarter.
Herndon attacking Knox in those 3 fouls, but lost the dribble. 2-on-1 the other way. Newton had it rejected. Out of bounds by Jacayla Palmer. Actually stayed inbounds, and then another throwaway at the other end of the floor. Now Knox surveying. Mobley's had the hot hand. Getting up some ground against Snipes Drain. Looks like she wants to take it. Through the high post. The pass off of the fingertips of Knox. 41-25 North Mac, 5:08 for the third. Jennifer Baker, the all-time winningest North Mecklenburg women's basketball coach. Got a Ball State's in her 18th year now for the Vikings. Palmer, drag the foots.
Good defense. Right in her face, making it difficult. North Meck, they played great there in that first quarter. The second quarter, I'd say Southern Durham kind of made some plays and gained some momentum at the very least, but here in the third, Vikings doing all the little things.
14 turnovers now by the Spartans. Right off the bench, Wake. Entry pass poked away and a steal by the Spartans. Well, they need to make something happen relatively quickly. They bounce it ahead. Hawkins, a spinning three off the heel. Offensive rebound, Williams. Kept it high. Tried to feed off of the knee of one of her teammates. 3 players are on the deck. And the possession error belongs to Southern Durham.
Gianna Williams got the turnover on the defensive end there on offense, getting the offensive board, just really hustling. That's what they need, those spark plays and getting on the floor to get the jump ball. But they've got to find a way here on offense to go back to that drive mentality, getting downhill, getting to the free throw line, or getting all the way to the hoop.
Just can't afford those kind of mistakes. It's a long baseline out of bounds pass that even if Hawkins is able to get the ball, that's just not a pass you want to make. That's not giving Hawkins any kind of margin, even if she's able to bring it in. I mean, she's on the sideline, nowhere to turn, defenders on her. It's back to the Vikings, up by 16. Probably racing ahead, slams on the brakes. It's a very nice game running the offense for North Meck. She'll take on the whole defense and travel. She went against 4 red shirts in the paint. Back to Southern Durham. This was an 11-point lead for North Meck at the break. It's now up to 16. Halfway through the third now. So the Spartans have not been able to make up any ground. Nolan past the baseline. That's a shot that has to go. Hudson flies in, kept it alive, and it's on the end line. It will go the other way to North Meck. So not the burst that Southern Durham was hoping to see out of intermission. The lead is bigger for North Meck. 3:52 to go with third period. Mobley has kind of led the way in this third quarter. Vikings up by 16. Hey folks, here's a look at some of our fans tonight on our Original Grills Fan Cam. Elevate your grill game, sir. It's having a very nice night in support of North Meck. 16-point lead over Southern Durham. Temperature outside right around 70. Good day to elevate your grill game.
Grilling weather.
On a day like this. Tomorrow as well. I think we're down into the 40s later on this week. 3:52 left, third quarter. Vikings basketball with a 41-25 lead on Southern Durham. Again, turnovers been a real big plague, particularly in that first half for the Spartans. Dumped down into Knox, and Knox got fouled. That'll be the third on Herndon. So Hudson and Herndon now have 3 for the Spartans. Knox and Newton have 3 for North Mecklenburg.
Aaliyah Mack sitting in the middle of the paint area, getting the entry pass from Lenise Joseph. That was set. They knew where they were going with that ball, trying to get a look close to the hoop. And the sophomore, Mack, establishing position to get the entry pass.
This is her first point of the championship. One more for Mack from the Tatum and Atkinson free throw line. Injured in a car wreck, call the heavy hitters. Tatum and Atkinson, second by Mack. Biggest lead of the championship for the Vikings, it's 18. A couple of subs out, Snipes, Drain, and Hawkins to the bench. And now it's Palmer hustling the basketball up against Mobley for the Spartans, trailing by 18 points. Herndon over the outstretched arm of Joseph. Hudson on the drive. Tough shot. Offensive rebound on the other side. Blocked by Joseph. And now a run out. It's in the hands of White driving in. Left-handed layup partially deflected by Herndon. And recovered by the Spartans. Trice through the paint. Hands it off to Williams. She tried to get to a teammate, lost it. Taken right back by Hudson, who then traveled.
The post players for North Mech are so good with their timing, their body control, and knowing how to block shots when they see their opponent go up. And there's two defenders down there with Mack and Joseph just kind of creating a wall inside of the paint, making it difficult to get a shot up.
Joseph had 17 points the first half. Hasn't scored here in the third quarter, but she's been a defensive presence. Kind of wandering to the near side corner. Now she'll come out to the high post, wearing number 30. 2:35 for the third quarter. Mobley against Palmer with the left-handed dribble. Boy, she is quick and slippery. Knox, fall away. Joseph, the stick back, and there are her first points in the third quarter. 19 for the game.
14 total offensive rebounds. It's been a big factor in this game.
And Williams, meanwhile, got fouled at the other end, and that is going to go against Aaliyah Mack.
Mack coming back, going against Williams, and Williams just kind of feeling that pressure, and she had momentum to get into the body of Mack to go to the line.
So it's Kiana Williams looking for her first points of the championship. Lead is 20 for North Mecklenburg. And still 20. Coming up toward the end of today's game, we will check out the Akeem Manastapulo Law Firm play of the game. Injured, don't scream, call Akeem. Dial 800 all sevens. That free throw will not be a play of the game nominee. That one could. 1 of 2. First point of the title game for Williams, a takeaway, and more free throws are coming up for the Spartans. Good effort there by Ashlyn Hudson.
Defense jumping in the passing lane to knock the ball loose. For Southern, that's how it starts. If you want to come back, you've got to turn over the Vikings at a high level here and use that to create offense.
And that will be the third foul on Lenise Joseph. First free throw is made by Hudson. Coming up at the end of the game, we'll have the Riddle and Riddle Injury Lawyers player of the game. Riddle and Riddle when justice counts. Well, if you're the Spartans down by 18, this is where you want to be. Free throw line, clock stopped. Trying to slice into the deficit. You want to be more efficient, though, from the foul line. They made 2 of their last 4. It's an 18-point game, and here comes the full court pressure again for Southern Durham. And the Vikings have not been averse to turnovers in their own right in this game. They've committed 13, the Spartans 16. It just feels like the Spartans have committed about 25 in this one. Free throws coming up for the Vikings. Johnson will head to the line. That'll be the third foul on Williams.
As they've broken through the pressure, they've done it with quick passes going vertically up the floor. Not a lot of side to side. It's very downhill direct, and that's how you got to break it. The defense just couldn't get over in time.
First point for Johnson. So Williams departs with 3 fouls. One more Tatum and Atkinson free throw. If you're injured in a car wreck, call the heavy hitters. Tatum and Atkinson. Mack is back in. Joseph checks out. She has 3 fouls for the Vikings. Third quarter clock shows 2:05. A couple of free throws for the senior off the bench, Mina Johnson. South Durham trailing by 20, 47-27. The deficit was 11 at the break. Herndon against Knox, gets a screen, and that passes has no chance to get through. When it goes against 6 different Viking hands, a steal. Mobley can't finish on the 2-on-2. Loose ball picked up by North Mecklenburg, and a foul on the Spartans.
The pressure is beginning to be too much, and the Vikings just getting these turnovers and continuing to attack. It's almost like wearing down a team. You continually face that pressure. At some point, you're going to get turnovers and flurries, and that's what's happening right now.
Foul on Trice, her second. Knox and Joseph combined for 29 points in the first half. They've scored a total of 3 in this third quarter. 3 of the 14. So they've allowed their teammates to pick up the slack. Now 6 different players for the Vikings have scored in this quarter alone. 49-27 North Mac.
A balanced attack. Everybody really getting touches and getting involved. It's a deep roster.
And it feels like we're getting whistles every trip down the floor on both ends. Foul on North Mecklenburg. It'll be Ashland Hudson to the line. Second foul on Mack. 120 for the third. Hudson now has 6. These fan bases have shown out in this one.
Yeah,
excellent
great crowd.
I mean, you can understand for Southern Durham, this is almost like a school holiday, even though it's a Saturday. Both the men's and women's are playing for a title. But great community turnout for North Mecklenburg. And a foul at the other end this time. Free throws coming up for the Vikings.
North Meck's men's team almost made it here as well. It could have been both North Meck and Southern Durham's boys and girls facing off against each other. Mooresville winning a close ball game in the regional final at Lenore-Rhine to make it against the Southern Durham boys.
Yeah, and North Meck's men's team was the top seed. They got beat 55-52. That game, I think, saw like 10 or 11 lead changes in the second half alone on the men's side between Mooresville and North Meck. One more free throw coming up for Trotter. 49-28. .22 lead for the Vikings, 50-28. We're in 1 minute left in the third. Hawkins slings it to the high post, and Hudson. The throwback, a step-in 3 by Trice, all glass. Rebound grab by Knox, lost it. Palmer feeds underneath, and one more foul. Hudson to the line for the Spartans.
Southern Durham. Nice pass to the interior to get to the line. Down a big lead. Vikings still in complete control of this ball game. Just impressed with their effort, though, Patrick, even there on a mistake. Still playing hard, even with this big cushion.
One more free throw from the Tatum and Atkinson free throw line. If you're injured in a car wreck, call the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson. Jay, we've seen 27 fouls combined in this game and 38 free throws.
Not a lot of flow.
Yeah, one way to say
We talk about rhythm.
Yeah.
On offense.
Those are
stoppages.
Unusually high numbers, particularly in the state title game. And that free throw, even if it goes, won't count. Sweeping back around the inside position player was Imani Hawkins, number 3. 46 seconds left, third quarter. 50-28, North Mecklenburg. Trotter nearly coughed it up. Gets it back from Knox, and now Trotter going full speed ahead. Misses the short little left-handed layup. Offensive rebound again by the Vikings, and knocked to the side of the glass. 27 seconds to go. And the ball knocked free out of the right-handed dribble by Hawkins. It will stay with the Spartans. Just no give up in the Vikings, even if they're a live ball turnover or beaten down the floor, which is rare.
They play with one speed, and that's the sign of a great team. It is a team that no matter what the score is, no matter where you're at in the ball game, they're continuing to play at that same level.
Fadeaway off the elbow, missed. Knox will outlet. Newton the over the shoulder catch, beautiful finish. That pass was perfect, and the finish was pretty exemplary as well.
And Newton catching that with a full sprint and able to slow down body control to finish.
Final shot of the third won't go, and North Mecklenburg, it will be an 8-minute coronation for their first state title in 36 years. They will take a 52-28 lead into the final quarter before they raise the banner here in Winston-Salem. Stats through 3, presented by Arthritis Knee Pain Center. Relief without surgery or opioids. 52-28 lead for North Mac. The rebounds and the turnovers, the two big stories.
Yeah, the stats also say the defense for North Mac, limiting Southern to 9 for 34 instead of turnovers, rebounds. Those are the three areas that have really gone to favor of the Vikings.
They're ready to roll. Garage door points in the paint. 32-12 advantage for North Mac. If you are ready to roll, call Raleigh's Garage Door Experts today. Fourth quarter gets underway. The Vikings up by 24 points on Southern Durham. And they have been in command since the ball was in the air on the opening tip. And now they're trying to just pedal to the metal and put this game away. Quick timeout, 12 seconds into the fourth quarter here. Taken by North Mecklenburg's Jennifer Baker. Coaching never stops. Hey, when it's been 36 years, even with a 24-point lead, you're still coaching your players up because you don't ever take anything for granted as head coach. And speaking of the last time the North Mac won a state title, their only appearance, 1986. There is Andrea Stinson, the 1990 ACC Player of the Year, the North Mecklenburg alum. She's very tight with his program and left NC State with 2,136 points scored. She played under the legendary Kay Yao and went on to have A WNBA career that led with her number 32, hoisted to the banners in Charlotte after it was retired at NC State at Reynolds Coliseum. She's here. She's kind of incognito, very last row on the other side of the floor, but she not only is a North Mecklenburg great, she's one of the great all-time North Carolina women's players in collegiate history and really professional history as well.
I bet she could still get a bucket. You never lose that touch and that jump shot. It still looks like she could get you 20 in any game she plays.
And nice recognition and ovation from the fans here as they got the shot of Andrea Stinson up on the board as well.
It's got to be a lot of fun for her to come back, see her school having this much success, and for the players to having her support. You look up, you see her there. That means a lot for them, really, to kind of share the same bond of playing in the same jersey.
6:45 for the fourth quarter. 54-28. Dribble drive and a foul will send Hudson to the free throw line. Second foul on Spindle, number 22.
Hudson, one of the senior leaders. This will be her last ball game in the Spartans jersey. Has had a great career and still going hard here in the fourth quarter.
First is good for Hudson. One more coming from See-Through Construction free throw line. At See-Through Construction, your contractor of choice on the OBX. Spindle is out with a couple of fouls. Back in is Mobley with 7 points. Again, for these Spartan fans in attendance, they'll get a chance to at least split their appearance here in the state championship 7A. Hoping to avoid the same fate Hoggard suffered back on Wednesday when both the men's and women's played for a title. They both lost, had leads in the final minute of the fourth quarter, both of those games. But a couple of losses for the Hoggard Vikings. Southern Durham will be on the floor about 30 or so minutes plus or minus at the conclusion of this one, taking on the Mooresville Blue Devils. And that will put a wrap on 4 days and 16 championships. Big spin, Hernan, partially blocked away by Joseph. And the Vikings will bring it ahead with a 24-point lead.
That should be a great game tonight. Really looking forward to that one. We started off the coverage on Wednesday with the 1A and the 8A matchups. And then here tonight, finishing off with the 7A matchups.
Offensive rebound, that's missed in tight by Hudson. And the Vikings battling for it with a 24-point lead. A huge tie up there between Trice. And the arrow will keep it with Southern Durham. Hike it out front. Trotter breaks it up. She'll pick it up at midcourt and go one-on-one against Trice. And a blocking foul goes against the Spartan. And again, unhappy with that call, along with their head coach, Teddy McCoy. He's not pleased with it either. Just thought there's two players going for a loose ball here. Jay, what do you think?
Yes, hustling. Just getting another look.
You pretty much have to call that.
Yeah, a lot of contact. The way I saw it.
Third on Trice. Mobley thought about a long three. Newton dumps it inside. This is Joseph. Got it to Newton, diving down the lane, lost the handle, and saved to the Spartans. Hernan up the floor, does not have an angle or the numbers here. Nice bounce pass out of a double team, and a wild miss by Trice.
That's what the pressure does. I mean, it's just throughout the ball game, and it forces you to be rushed and make plays that you're going a little bit too fast where you normally be more controlled.
The entry pass, Joseph, from 10. And Mobley got in there to get her fingertips on that rebound, and a foul is called.
And for North Mech, Joseph is the headliner with Knox alongside her, but they are so much more than those big two. They are balanced. Their defense, all 5 players on the floor are intense. They run their sets really well together. There's really good veterans. There's younger players as well. You have the junior class, but there's freshmen, sophomore playing big minutes in this game. They're a complete team.
More contact on the perimeter. So a lot of fouls called in that third quarter. I think the officials are trying to allow this game to develop a little bit of flow. 5 minutes left, fourth quarter. 24-point lead for North Mecklenburg. And Trice to the free throw line for the Spartans. Five points for Trice. Knox returns. Second rolls off. Rebounds to the Vikings.
Knox now a double-double, 14 points, and that was her 10th rebound. Her alongside of the post players, just cleaning up on the glass.
Snipes Drain picks up a second quick foul. This officiating crew, I chatted with them before the game. They've been together for most of the playoffs over the last couple of rounds. Todd Doolittle. There is Kelsey Jones. There is Todd, working his fourth state title game. Kelsey's in her second. Knox. This fires from the foul line. Hudson the rebound. Off glass, yes, and a foul. Palmer the bucket.
Here comes the junior downhill, going through three defenders to get to the hoop. And she's going to have an opportunity next year to really have a strong season coming back after this year, where it's a double-digit scorer for the Spartans. And I really like her game, what she can do with her handles and how she finishes.
See-through construction free throw is good from Palmer. Three-point play. 54-34, 4:27 for the fourth. Tip pass, stolen and dribbled off the foot of Mobley, but then redirected, I guess, off of Snipes Drain. And right on that call was our referee, Todd Doolittle, looking straight down at it.
Right in front of us.
There's the dribble off the knee, foot, and then off of the pink left shoe. Good. It's a great call by Todd right there. And no real argument. Mobley knew it.
You had a great view right
in front
there.
of us. I was ready to catch the basketball.
You're ready for it. Now they're spreading the floor. You can see them slowing things down. The pace is a little bit more controlled.
Johnson enters to Knox. 4:01 remaining. That'll be a two-shot foul. Oregon Knox 14 in the game. And 27 in the regional final win over Lake Norman. 55-34. The Vikings have done a great job, obviously crashing the offensive glass, but just assaulting the rim, drawing a lot of fouls, getting to the free throw line. They've shot not great from the free throw line, but well enough with a high volume of attempts.
The effort plays. I mean, and that's something for them that is a huge factor to their successes. Yes, you have the talent, you have the schemes, but those effort plays, the rebounds, the extra opportunities, that's something they really pride themselves in winning.
By the way, that rebound by Joseph is a double-double for her. So she and Knox with double-doubles today. That was thrown away. Final media timeouts. Knox and Joseph, double-doubles in the state championship, leading the way for the Vikings, 3:29 away from their second state title. Love the state championship basketball vibes. Watch this young man. That's you. That's right. That's you. Keep dancing.
He's on TV.
Keep dancing. Let's go. Bring it. Make some fans. Oh, yeah. Heads bobbing. Especially if you're a North Mech fan right now. Rolling toward a state title. It will be their first in 36 years, since 1986. Kara Mazel was the head coach. They went undefeated that year, 26-0. Andrea Stinson, we showed her here in attendance a little bit ago, scored 34 points in that win, was the state championship MVP. As a matter of fact, she still has some of the highest scoring records in state postseason games. Now, 36 and 37 years later. Off the turnover, 2-on-1, Knox finishes. 24 is the lead.
Yeah, that's how this game has gone. Just getting out on the run, using their pressure and their up-tempo style to get easy buckets.
Final 3 minutes. Side of the rim, missed by Hudson. Well, you never want to come to the state championship game and lose, right? Everybody hopes to win. You hope it's a close game. If there's any consolation for the Spartans in this game, they won't have to go into the spring and summer thinking that one shot costs us.
Yeah.
This has been a comprehensive effort by the Vikings, leaving no doubt today who the better team is in Winston-Salem.
It's a barometer in an amazing season for the Spartans, but you're going against a Vikings ball club with Jennifer Baker, who is so proud of this year's teams. That's a machine. And they've won 17 in a row. Only 2 losses were right around Christmas. Eben Christian from Georgia, and then Mallard Creek, who won the 8A state championship in the 3-point loss.
Days ago, right?
So this is a group that has blown through their schedule and blown out opponents, and they are really good on offense, defense. Opportunity to be right back here next year. Now they'll face really good competition and teams trying to take them down, but they've got the pieces to make another long run.
And then again, if you're Teddy McCoy, for what will wind up being a 27-4 year where you were undefeated within your conference, this lopsided state title loss will not in any way color their season as any type of failure. It's been a tremendous year getting here to the state title game for the first time in over 2 decades. And yes, it did not go their way, but he and the Spartans will be and should be so very proud of what they have been able to do over the course of this year. And I guarantee Teddy will have his team an hour from now in their post-game sweats with their post-game meal, watching the men try and win a championship on this very floor.
Well, they'll be here supporting them in this ball game. Things didn't go their way, but again, you gotta just kind of realize the opponent you're going against, and this is a dominant team for North Mech, and this is their year. And for Southern Durham, only 3 losses coming into this ball game, a special season, and they're going to be proud of what they're able to accomplish to get to this point.
You mentioned what the Vikings, one of their losses to Mallard Creek. They actually beat Mallard Creek the second time they played them, only a couple of weeks ago. And North Mech and Mallard Creek, not at all surprised to see the deep runs of the state title games and, in some cases, championships this week at Wake Forest. 1:50 to play. 61-34. For this Spartans team from Southern Durham, there are 4 seniors. We've yet to see Nona Tullis, number 4, on the floor. Well, she's on the floor now. And red up the lane to the left of Mobley, right on your screen. Hudson, Williams, and Trice are the other seniors. So as they wind down their high school career for Southern Durham, Teddy McCoy is going to make sure that they're on the floor here to go out as a group. And that is Hudson, and Hudson will head to the free throw line with 140. So Hudson's out there, Williams is out there, Trice is still out there, and Tullis. So all 4 seniors for the Spartans are on the floor these last couple of minutes.
Really talk about the youth with the Vikings. A lot of players going to be returning and gaining experience from this game and this season for Southern, and they'll have an opportunity. It all starts over once next year starts, but with that experience, you'd expect them to be another deep and talented group they'll have a chance, and their goal will be to come back here.
Yeah, they'll have one more year with Aaliyah Herndon. And Herndon, her championship is over. She's on the bench right now, leaning back in the middle of the bench. Minute 35 to go. Vikings, the fans are trying to figure out who's going to record what. So where are we going to get the best shots
Getting their spot
of
ready.
the celebration? On the baseline, that will rim off. No good. Rebounded by the Spartans. Hudson. Williams off glass, stays with Southern Durham.
There's a lot of blue here in the arena because now Mooresville's fans are coming in. Of course, Southern Durham's fans can just stay in their spot, but there's Mooresville coming in for their game coming up next.
And Lenise Joseph, 21 points, 12 rebounds, 7 block shots, and 6 offensive rebounds. And she's not done with her high school career. She is out. It'll be interesting, the MVP voting here. I have a sense it's probably going to go to Joseph over Knox, but you can make a case for either. I think Joseph's been a little bit more impactful in terms of the other areas of the floor, especially those 7 blocks and the disruptions in the paint.
And they both have double doubles.
Yeah.
And Joseph, you said it, another year along with Knox as well. So those two have bright futures once they get to college. But all the offers rolling in for good reason. She was dominant here today.
One more from the see-through construction free throw line. And 1 of 2 for Johnson. So meanwhile, Mobley, Wyke, Johnson, those are the only 3 seniors on this team. Wyke is waiting to check in. She's at the scorer's desk as the clock ticks below 50 seconds. And hoping for a whistle or a dead ball of some kind to get her on the floor. Mack ribs down the rebound. The clock now is below 40. And Wyke is still waiting at the scorer's desk. I wouldn't be surprised if Jennifer Baker calls a timeout to get her in. 30 seconds to go. Wyke still waits. The clock is still running. 65-36. And there is a whistle that will get Jayla Wyke, number 10, back on the floor for North Mecklenburg. 65-36. You look at what the Vikings have done in this championship run. They held Weddington to 46 points, McDowell to 36 points. Marvin Ridge in the regional semifinals scored only 37, and we know Lake Norman could put up some numbers. They only scored 57 points. And now Wyke is in. Mobley departs. 8 points, a couple of assists. Johnson is out, and Morgan Knox as well. Knox a double-double, 19 points, 11 rebounds. She shot 14 free throws in this state title game by herself. Final 20 seconds. Blake will bring it ahead. A touch for the sophomore Matthews. And a turnover. And the long wait for North Mecklenburg. 36-year wait for a state title is over. And Andrea Stinson has some state title company at North Mecklenburg High School. Because the 2026 North Meck Vikings have just vanquished Southern Durham convincingly. 65-38, second state title for the Vikings.
Well, congratulations to North Meck. What a game. Offense, defense, they did all the little things to get their state championship. And Southern, disappointed right now, but they had a great year. They'll learn from this and try to come back next year and use it as motivation. But the Vikings here celebrating. They deserve this one with all the little things they did, Patrick. That was a great team victory.
So North Mecklenburg finally has its second title 36 years later. 65-38 over Southern Durham. The celebration, the trophy presentation, and Jay will chat with Jennifer Baker when we return to Winston-Salem. North Mecklenburg, 7A Women's Champions of 2026. North Mecklenburg Vikings take down the 7A title. First since 1986, 65-38 over Southern Durham. Jay Sohnhalter is with the 18th year head coach, Jennifer Baker.
Coach, I know you said this was a long time coming. How good does it feel to finish off your season the way you played today?
Oh, it feels great. 40 years in the making. We have not been back for 40 years. Lanice brought that up at the regionals, and I know we're in here with the last player that did it. We're bringing this back home to Huntersville, to North Mech. Our guys have done such a great job just representing for us all these years. We thought it was our time. We're just so excited, all the hard work. Unfortunately, one person wins, one person loses. Southern Durham did a great job, and I mean, we just did our homework. We just really did. The girls fought so hard. This started all the way back in the summer at our summer invitational, and we beat Lake Norman by 1 in the summer invitational, and just those battles got us prepared for today. They were relaxed. They were ready. They said, Coach, we got you. So I just played through them.
I know you said one of those former players was here from past state championship. What does that support mean to have Andrea Stinson here watching your team and have the relationship that you have with her and your players?
It's a great relationship. Lanice said she's coming after all her banners and all her awards, and that's the great camaraderie that they have. She sent her a prayer before this game, so Lanice holds her in very high regards, and she's such a great role model for our kids.
The way your team plays, you can see the talent, but it just seems like your players play with an extra gear, an extra effort. Where do they get that relentlessness from? Because it's evident the way you play.
We run a lot on the track. They're going to hate that, but I told them you're going to hate us in August, in September, and October, but you're going to love us in March. So this is when you want everything that you've done, the weight room, the conditioning, this is when you want it to show up.
All that hard work paid off. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks a lot, Jay. Thank you, Jennifer. The 4-decade wait is now over for the Vikings. Jennifer Baker and North Mecklenburg with a convincing win over Southern Durham, 65-38. All right, we got a couple of housekeeping items to get to, and as we get Jay back mic'd up, let's get to our play of the game. The Akeem and Estepulo Law Firm play of the game. Injured, don't scream, call Akeem. Dial 800 all sevens, and here is our play of the game. This pass coming from Mobley to the inside, and Lanice Joseph for our play of the game, Jay.
They were impressive. This was a complete ball game, and Mobley's pass, Joseph, so good. Everything she caught, she finished today. Very effective from the floor, and her defensive effort was special in the way she led from her point guard position. Being a senior, I know this is a special moment.
That was one of the 2 assists that Mobley had in the game. Now to our Riddle and Riddle Injury Lawyers Player of the Game, sponsored by Riddle and Riddle when justice counts. It was a tough decision, but we're going to give it to Lanice Joseph.
She had a double-double. Her defensive effort was pretty amazing, but she was able to do blocking shots, and then her teammates found her the ball throughout this game. She crashed the glass. Everything she did was successful in this one, and her intensity that she brings from her center position. She's just the foundation on defense. She's consistent on offense. She does a little bit of everything for her team. 3
block shots away from a triple-double with 10 blocks. Finished with 21 points, 12 rebounds, 7 block shots. So the 40-year wait is over. North Mecklenburg with a 65-38 win over Southern Durham.
This is going to be something they remember forever, of course. And we talked with Coach there about all the hard work. I mean, there is so much time and work that goes into it, and it's not a one-year thing. This has been throughout her time with North Mech, and you could just tell the emotion and how much this means to her, and this memory that she's bringing back to the North Mech community with her program getting the state championship. It's something they'll share always together, but it's a testament that hard work does pay off, and her team definitely showed it today.
And again, they've been so close. They haven't made the state finals in 4 decades, but I mean, they have been a major player in the West for years and years, but they just kind of run into the buzzsaw of Lake Norman most of those years and got knocked out. But they finally got over the Lake Norman hump last week, and now they take it off the sheet, finalize their state championship that they've been just knocking at the door on for years.
Yeah, and you stay with it. And sometimes you work really hard, and it doesn't give you the result that you want. But you can't give up. You just keep coming back, and at some point, it is going to result in reaching the ultimate goal.
And so finally, that banner, after a 40-year wait, will head back to Huntersville. 65-38 win over Southern Durham. So now we'll get to the most outstanding player announcements, the MVP. And Jay, let's kind of reset things for Southern Durham on the just the fabulous year that Teddy McCoy and his Spartans had.
Well, they had a great year. Their men's program as well as North Mexican men's program. They did. I mean, these are dominant programs in each side of the state. And for Teddy McCoy, what they were able to accomplish, I know right now it's tough for their players because you wanted to win this game. You put everything into it. You worked extremely hard, and it doesn't come out your way. But this bond this group will have making to this point and learning all the lessons they had from this season, all those big wins and the tough moments, they'll carry that on through, but they'll always be a part of their school's history with their season.
Yeah, they started 3 juniors, so Herndon, along with Palmer and Snipes Drain, will return. They will lose Hudson and Williams, and now the most outstanding player on the winning side for North Mecklenburg, that's Morgan Knox. Knox finished with a double-double, 19 points, 11 rebounds, which means the MVP, as we surmise, is going to be Lenise Joseph. Also a double-double, but again, her defensive presence probably set her apart here with those 7 block shots as well. And you heard Jennifer Baker say that with 1 more year left to go, she's going after Stinson's records. And one record that Andrea Stinson does not have, she didn't win 2 state titles. So after a 40-year wait, perhaps that's going to be the top of the goal board for Lenise Joseph, because she will basically have her choice of where she wants to play college basketball almost anywhere around the country whenever that commitment is firmed up. But some unfinished business with 1 more year to go, along with Knox and the rest of most of her team.
Right. Well, and when Coach was talking about how it's not fun in the offseason and how they hate all the running, well, it's going to be a little bit easier to say that message now that you see the reward that they got today.
All right, let's get to our final stats of this 7A Women's Championship game, brought to you by Arthritis Knee Pain Center. Relief without surgery or opioids, Jay.
The rebounding was huge in this ball game. A big discrepancy there, especially on the offensive glass. North Mech just cleaning up, and then they're shooting from the field, 42%. Good job there, but this was about creating those second chance opportunities and the turnovers leading the offense.
And our Points in the Paint, sponsored by Ready to Roll Garage Doors. If you are ready to roll, call Raleigh's Garage Door experts today. One-sided affair there as well. A lot of that is because of Lenise Joseph, 38-14 edge over the Spartans in the paints. So it's a final 7A title returns to North Mecklenburg. First title in 40 years for the Vikings, and it was a one-sided affair for the 7A championship. Congratulations to Jennifer Baker and North Mecklenburg, 65-38 win over Southern Durham. And we all like to take a minute to thank the great sponsor partners of ours, Riddle & Riddle Injury Lawyers, Air Experts Heating and Cooling, Tatum & Atkinson, See-Through Construction, Ready to Roll Garage Doors, the law firm of Akeem Monastipulo, Paramount Auto, Tip Top Roofing, Original Grills, and Ingalls Markets. And all these sponsor partners, through their contributions to the program, make these championship games possible for all of our viewers at home. We are nearly done. There's 1 more championship left. It involves the same Southern Durham Spartans on the men's side for the 7A title against the 2 seed from the West, the Mooresville Blue Devils. That is coming up. For now, for Jay and our crew, Patrick Keenan saying so long from Winston-Salem.